Guys, just like that, I'm back with another Portable Clint. All right, there's a soldier out there who I serve on the front lines with. His name is Patrick Daniels, and I got him right here. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Daniel.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
Is it Patrick Daniel or Patrick Daniels?
Well, first of all, there's just one of me, so it's Daniel.
Right, why did I say Daniels at the beginning? Do you know why?
It's like my old man told me way back in the day, if you're gonna get mad at people calling you Daniels, you're gonna be mad your entire life, so.
Okay, so it's something that's a natural thing that people say?
1,000%.
Because I guess of Jack Daniels? Is that, you think that has anything to do with it?
Probably.
Okay, all right. Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about when you came up with the idea about loading up a car and moving to Los Angeles, California.
I didn't.
You didn't?
It was demanded.
Really?
Well, yeah. So I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma. Yep. Love it. Wide open spaces.
Yeah.
And I went to a small little Catholic private school, and at such you were allowed to play football, play soccer, play baseball, and do theater, and that kind of thing. So Tulsa's not a small town by any means, and I had a couple people sandwiching me. There's a great actress out here, Lauren Stimeli. She's just amazing, and then a little guy.
Who? I'm sorry. Who is that?
Lauren Stimeli. She is another journeyman actor like ourselves, just making it happen. But she's always got those great little 3 or 4 episode recurring.
Okay, great.
She's genius.
Okay.
And then there's what's his name? He's struggling right now.
He's struggling.
Bill Hader. Bill Hader went to high school with me. So I'm not coming from no stock whatsoever, but I was told I had some juice. Okay, man, you should really try this out. And that seemed like just a faraway stretch that wasn't going to happen. So I got a real job, got a house, got a mortgage.
All this in Tulsa.
College.
All this in Tulsa.
No, I went to University of New Mexico in Albuquerque.
Okay.
Kind of my Robert Frost moment was heading out of OU. All my friends went to OU, OSU. So I went to University of New Mexico, go Lobos. And out there just, made life. And it was great. But my wife had these best friends from New Mexico that had moved out here. The husband, Richard Farmer, was a director. Okay. And knowing those guys and coming out and going to weddings and coming out for events, they just were like, why aren't you out here? Why aren't you doing this? I said, because I've got real stuff to do. I can't come out and make believe every day. Until he called me one day and said, I'm putting you in a commercial, and this is the dumb stuff that happens that you only read about. I'm putting you in a commercial. I'll fly you out, put you up at my house.
Wow,
Come
man.
on out.
Wow.
And I said, well, that was fun, thanks. Then I got a little check in the mail for, a couple $100.
Sure.
And I said to myself, well, that was fun. I loved it. It brought me back to everything I wanted to do when I was in high school, as a dreamer. And in 07, when the big financial turn started, I was in the oil and gas business, and we kind of felt that pretty quick. My wife and I just looked at each other and said, let's do it. Let's go. So we packed up the car, sold the house, put the dogs in, and moved to Beverly Hills.
So you're telling me you sold everything.
Yeah.
When you moved out here, did you have a place already in mind, or were you going to drive in and find the place?
We had nothing. My wife stayed at home to sell the house. I came out here about 3 months early to try to find a job, find a place to stay, couch hopping. My good friends Kirsten and Richard, the folks that brought me out here, they lent me a spare bedroom for 30 days.
Nice.
And that's their in and out. Those two were also great. They got me on.
Did they go, dude, you can only stay here for 30 days? Did they specifically say that?
They are the most generous, loving people trying to push their good onto everybody else.
Awesome.
But they have a rule. We will bring you into our home. We will take good care of you, but you have 30 days to make it happen.
And it's kind of like one of those tough love things, because if you come out here and get too comfortable, then the month could turn into 3 months, and they know that if you're not persistent in this business, you could get very easily lazy.
Lazy happens in an instant out here, and
does.
The second you get comfortable with whatever it is, comfortable with not making it, or it's not going to happen to you, or comfortable with, oh, I guess I'm out here and I'll just do this part-time and find something else to do. Comfort can seek in real quick, because the other option is really hard. What we do is really hard. So I got to hang out with them for a little bit, and then the the dumb classic story of I'm at a birthday party at a bowling alley in Eagle Rock, and I'm cracking a couple jokes, and some girl goes, "Tell me you're an actor." I was like, "Well, of course I am. I'd been out in LA for 2 weeks." And she goes, "Who's your agent?" I said, "I don't have one." She goes, "Stop by my office, and you'll know this woman, Shane Liam."
Wow. She's awesome.
Shane Casting, she is awesome. She brought me in, threw me in an audition, sent me over to my first commercial agent, and I've been very, very lucky to get some work done.
Well, good for you,
then.
man.
So it's good,
for you. Okay, so what was the first job you booked? I'm not counting the job that the director gave you.
Right.
Let's talk about your journey when you first booked your gig.
And I feel like it's a story that a lot of people have. You come out of the gate just on fire. You come out of the gate and you're just booking stuff left and right. I did Weber Grill, and I was dancing. At this point in time, I still thought you got like a free Weber Grill.
Sure.
When you did your commercial, you're like, here's your money, and just take a pic of your Weber Grills. You get to take that home. That did not happen.
Did you ask?
I did ask.
I used to ask every product I was on.
Yep.
Can I get it? I did get 4 cases of Heinz 57 sauce once.
And you still have all 4
I
cases.
still have four cases. I really do. I mean, it's somewhere.
I got a set of Beats headphones for doing a Super Bowl commercial with Ellen DeGeneres. That was fun.
How did they give that to you? Why come out?
So, and here's how LA is really funny. The commercial was for the Bears.
The Bears?
Goldilocks.
Okay,
Goldilocks. So
yes.
Ellen DeGeneres plays the 3 bears, and we're all bears. She plays Goldilocks, and we're all the 3 bears. So there's this really intricate dance number that everybody's got to do. So the little bear was this super amazing hip hop star. The mom was this ridiculously amazing country music and Western two-stepper. The wolf, again, another hip hop guy. And then there was me. And I didn't understand what was going on. I got to practice that day, and everybody's doing their pirouettes and ballet. And these 2 guys come out who are like choreographers for everybody, for Rihanna and for just names out of the world. And he's like, "All right, everybody on me. 5, 6, 7, 8." And everybody starts dancing the same maneuvers. And I'm like, they go, "Patty, don't worry about it. We got you because you can't dance." So it was really funny. They had auditioned all these dancers that couldn't quite act like they couldn't dance.
Right.
They had to find a guy who couldn't dance.
Look at you, man. Dang, why didn't I audition for that?
Right? I know. It's,
Wait, let's talk about Patty.
Great.
Do you call yourself Patty, or to tell me, because you just refer to yourself as Patty?
I did. You can't, I can't. I couldn't come out to LA and just start acting. I did. I had some success, but you need to have a little secondary job. You need to get by, put a roof over your head. So I was a bartender. And in LA, it's very funny. It's a very tight-knit group, but it's also, there's a little bit of showmanship, just like LA. I'd never been to a place where I needed to bring a headshot to a resume for a restaurant job.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden, kind of this more persona came out. I was Pat as a little kid, and some Saturday Night Live was out there, and it's like,
Sure.
what that? It's Pat. I got razzed on that one. Patrick, more in high school.
Okay.
And then acting-wise, if you call me Patrick, usually that means we're friends from the waiting room. Otherwise, if you know me from the LA bar scene, it's more Patty. It just kind of rolls off tongue, a little more fun. You're Irish bartender.
Okay, so you shoot your first gig, and it was for Weber Grills. You found out that you don't get a grill.
That's right.
What's the next gig? We're not going to go through each one, but what's the next one?
And I knew I should have looked at this before I came on, because I have, for an actor who remembers lines every day, I have the worst memory. There was I think the next biggest one was my Volkswagen. I was singing naked in the shower. There was one, Rocket Man, where everybody's getting
I remember that one. That was a
wrong.
good one,
It was a
man.
great one. Yeah, that was that first one where I'm like, wow, this is it. That was also the one that got me into SAG.
Okay.
I'd done something for Kohl's where I was sitting on a couch and something else, but I'd gotten my vouchers and moved on, and that one, thank goodness, was my must join. So Volkswagen paid for my membership.
And how much did it cost for you to join SAG?
Then it was, I want to say, spot on 3,000.
Okay. Which is not much. I mean, that's not that bad still. I mean, that's around that.
No.
I think it's 3,000 right now.
Yeah, it's something like that. It might have been 27, 28. This was 2010. I was one of the lucky ones who saw a job come through that was SAG, that I knew was going to pay me enough money to allow me to do
Nice,
that.
nice.
Some,
There's a lot of times you would pay the $3,000 to make $500.
Exactly, and so I was very lucky that those two coincided together, because there's been a bunch that have been a $500, $1,200 commercial run that wouldn't have paid for it, but I wouldn't change it for anything. Being a part of SAG-AFTRA is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most important things you can do as a professional actor.
Amen, brother.
100%.
Oh yeah, of course, dude, of course. How many commercials do you think you've booked?
High 30s,
Okay.
35.
And you
40
started in
something?
2010?
Yeah.
It's not bad, brother.
No,
Not
it's
bad
all
at
right. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. I've been a part of some good fun ones. I've been cut out of ones.
There's nothing worse than being cut out. How do you find out you're cut out? Do you find out when you're at home and you're excited because you hear it's going to be on tonight?
Well, there's two different things. You can either expect a commercial to come on and it doesn't, which I've learned now. Facebook, I don't tell anybody anything until they tell me first.
Exactly.
And
there's nothing better than getting that phone call.
Love it.
Dude, are you on this
Yeah.
commercial? Oh, it's the
Yeah,
best.
the phone call, the text, everything blows up, and then you can't help but just smile and say yes.
Yes.
There was a Super Bowl commercial for Coke Zero, where we're
Okay.
all on a firing line. It was this big production, and I'm telling everybody I'm on a Super Bowl commercial, and it doesn't run. And there was something sheepish and going, well, sorry everybody, I guess it didn't run. And you don't know what's going on. It happened to
Yeah.
run during March Madness later, which was a godsend in of itself. But no, you can't tell folks until they see it and they come to you. So
Seriously,
you hope.
man.
It's
Okay, so 30-ish commercials.
Yep,
When
yep.
do you start focusing theatrical on theatrical stuff?
when I got fired from my theatrical agent.
Tell me about that.
So
The fire gets set when we get fired
Yes.
or when something happens. So when something bad happens, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
no, nerves, fear, anxiety, all to a certain point. I feel fuel the body, fuel the mind.
Yep.
They get things working. That's why improv is such a huge part of my life. I know it's a part of your life. There's something just jazzing you when you go out on stage and you have no idea what's about to happen.
Yep.
And you're just waiting for it. And life can be like that. And if you can channel that energy and figure something out and get excited about it, you're all the better. So I'd left my amazing, great commercial agent to move on to a little bit bigger agency. And as green as I was,
Why
when
did
I
you
left
move?
them,
Why did you leave your commercial agent?
we are going through a world in commercials right now where we're about 70%, 60% non-union commercials.
Right.
Which for
we
those of
can't
us-
do.
No, we cannot do. For you
I mean,
guys
there are
out
people who
there.
do it, but we can't do it.
We would really love it if they didn't, but for those of us who draw a hard line of union work, we're not going to cross over and do non-union work.
Right.
And that can be very difficult when 65% of the stuff that's out there is for the non-union worker.
Yeah.
And so a little self-preservation. I thought going with a bigger agency would give me a little more protection than being with a smaller one who might not have the connections that can reach out a little bit farther to get an audition. So I went with them, and unbeknownst to me, the theatrical agent that I had over there let me go because I wasn't going to be across the board, and that just didn't cross my mind. And so I started scrambling, and finally the last job that I booked with my last agent was Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And they let me go after that, which is one of those funny things again, where you're like, I just was on the biggest TV show in the nation, and you guys are going to let me go. But hey,
How did they let you know that you were gone there?
I left the office after letting my commercial agent go, and I got a call right after that saying, hey, you're done across the board.
Wow. Okay.
So I was struggling, I was freaking out, and again, my butter always seems to land right side up. I got a call from my current management saying, hey, we saw that you weren't represented. Would you like to come in for a meeting? So again, I stepped in it, Clint.
By the way, I just realized, and I know this, but I just put it together with what you said. We have the same manager.
We do, and let's be honest, I have gone out against this guy since day one. Beautiful thing about LA and actors, and I think for the most part this is true, it's probably not in some people, but there's a camaraderie, and like he said, we're soldiers on the front line. one person out of 200 books that role. So there's 199 guys that look exactly like us who are walking out of that room again, going, well, we'll see you at the next one. So there's a really fun friendship that kind of comes around.
And we support each other.
1000%.
I mean, no matter how strong the competition is, we're all rooting for each other. I mean, seriously rooting
Every
for each
day.
other.
I am so excited when I see somebody I know on a television show.
Same here,
I am
man.
so excited when I see somebody on a big run commercial.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier. There's a couple guys who maybe could share the wealth a little bit, but
Exactly. And I don't think it's like that all the way around, because I know I know there's other categories that people hate each other when they book.
I think so. And there's a lot of people who hate a lot of things, but I can't personally go through life like that. It'll just eat you alive.
No, exactly. Okay, so they reach out to you, you sign with them.
I did.
Well, good.
And man, I love hustle.
Yeah.
And these guys were party promoters in LA before they started doing management stuff, and you can tell it's just great. They love calling, they love pushing for me, and the only thing I can do for them is prepare, work my butt off, and book it.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I was going to ask you what do you want to do theatrical, but I'm going to ask you the bigger question. What is it that you want out here? And please don't say you just want to continue working.
No.
What is it that you want? What keeps you up going, I want this, I want this, I want this to happen?
I love entertaining people.
Okay.
It's one of the most joyful things I have in my life. It's just so much fun. I now have a wife and a little 5-year-old boy. To be able to provide for them and do something that I love, like truly have a deep passion for, and I can't do anything else. I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah, same here, man.
So that's my daily in and out struggle. Is I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and then I'm an actor, and so I need to take care of 1 and 2.
I'm going to tell you about our lives. I always
Yeah.
run into him at Ralph's grocery store shopping with our kids.
Same aisles,
So,
every
same
time.
aisles. Anyway. Okay, so so you're answering the question. You love to entertain, but what is the thing?
The thing in LA.
The thing that you want. What's the goal? What's the like me? I want to win an Academy Award. I mean, what's the thing that you want? What's the highest?
You know what's funny is I often think about winning those awards, but here's what's really weird is every single time I think about it, I don't think about that statue up on the mantle. I don't think about hoisting it up. I think about having a moment to thank all the people that have worked really hard to get me there.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Oh man, to win an Oscar, to win an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and whatever, a high five from somebody who said I did something good. Michael Cutlass, I was on The Kids Are All Right.
Yeah, you were a couple times.
Yeah. And
I want to know about that in a second, but
sure.
go ahead.
Oh, and so it's just being able to thank people along the way that I do think, but there's something to be said for a big stage where everybody can hear their name. That's, I think, is pretty impressive. So,
and the thing is about thanking people out here, there's not too many people out here who are looking out for you. So when someone is actually looking out for you, that means the world to us.
It means more so. I can't say any more literally the world, because it's everything I do. It's my well-being, it's my mental health, it's my home, it's my food on my kids' plate. Their help is immeasurable.
Yeah, it really is, man. Tell me about The Kids Are All Right. How did you...
The Kids Are All Right, unfortunately, RIP, no longer with us. It got canceled, as a lot of stuff in LA does. Was a great little show, set back in the 70s, about a hardworking mom, Mary McCormick.
Sure.
And her 7 boys. That's the dad included. And I played Murph, the Irish bartender, which was a big stretch for an Irish bartender.
On the breakdown, did it say looking for a bartender with experience? Did that?
No, that was not it at all. They were looking for a real Irish accent. They were looking for that Irish look. I'm not fully red-haired, but I've got a little bit of that kind of.
Let me hear your
Irish
accent. Top of the morning to you.
Right, your tighty. No, it's one of those things where TV's funny. I went to a couple of my good Irish buddies, and we ran lines, and we got to a place where they were excited about it. And then, as TV tends to do, you gotta just give them a little bit extra, you know?
Yeah.
So Fiona, the next time you're over here cleaning this, you need to go over and clean that. There is a level of theatrics that goes along with everything out in LA. So no, that's not your Irish buddy. But maybe after a couple Jamesons, maybe after a couple Guinnesses, start slurring his words just a little bit so you know he's there. So that was a lot of fun.
Man.
That was great. But no, it was one of those things where Michael Cutlass gave me the biggest compliment I've ever had, and he looked at me and said, "Man, you're doing what everybody needs. You're coming in.
Wow.
You've got your 2 lines. You got your 3 lines. You know them every single time. You hit your mark every single time, and you're what's needed on set." And I was like, he goes, I was doing 1 and 2 lines for 10, 20 years. Stay with it and do exactly that, and people will recognize. So that's
I love that story. Now,
Yep.
let me ask you this. How did he tell you this? Did he come up? Did you go, I was noticing you? Like, how did that come up in conversation?
It was I was in the last 2 episodes, the 3rd to last episode and then the last episode, the season series finale. And it was at that martini shot. And for those of you guys who don't know, the martini shot is that very last shot of the day.
Sure.
And so, he is hugging everybody, saying hi, saying thanks, and then kind of just pulls me aside and says, "Hey, Patty, let me talk to you real quick." And I had no idea why. There's no reason why the star of the show would come over to the guy with 2 lines to say anything to you other than like, "Hey, you're standing in my light."
Yeah.
And no, he just had the best words for me of encouragement and thanks and gratitude, and it says a lot about him, and
Sure does,
and also
man.
gives me a lot. So
Anytime an fellow actor encourages another actor, they go in a book, dude, in that book, man, that's the golden book. Those guys are golden to me. I don't think I've ever forgotten a single compliment that I've gotten in this business.
And I also again, going back to my compliment, my thank yous, I take an extra hour to literally find every single person on set and say thank you to them. Because everybody behind the camera, everybody lifting heavy sandbags to make sure stuff doesn't fall down, those guys are working so hard to make our little 1-2 lines look easy. And so again, thanks is a huge deal. Hey, baby.
Let me ask you this. You just booked a good gig. I say it's a good gig. I mean, anytime you book a network show, it's a good gig.
Yeah.
You booked it for the Goldbergs.
I did. Not even out yet. So set your calendars. Season 7, episode 1.
And I'm going to say this. They may have said that you can't say anything, but
Right.
I'm going to say this because they've made it known through their Instagram.
Spoilers, I like it.
Through their Instagram
Yeah.
posts and stuff like that. So I'm not letting anything out of the bag. It's a vacation it's a vacation movie. They're not stealing, but they're borrowing from the vacation movie, this episode.
And for those of you who don't know the Goldbergs, it is a beautiful, really funny show set back in the 80s.
It's great. I love it.
The creator, Adam F. Goldberg, would do all these films and videos on his VHS when he was 8, 10, 12 years old, and he kept all of them. And so it's amazing. He's going back through all these tapes, finding really funny, hilarious stories, which basically all of them are, and then recreating them for today's audience. And then the best thing is at the very end, you get a little chunk of that VHS video, all grainy and weird, and it is identical to the episode you just saw. So it was very fun. Again, a little one-liner.
I'll take it all day long.
This will be my 3rd play as a bartender.
Great.
Play what you know. But it was amazing. Like, a cast is funny, improv based, and as great as that, it was a joy.
When do you know to improv? When you see other people improving on the set? Because usually I'm paranoid to do it because, dude, Clint, it says right here the words. Just kind of say every word just like that.
We are not paid to improv.
No, we're not.
And I mean, Clint and I, Clint has a ton of more credits on IMDb than I do. It's amazing. I'm following this man's footsteps, which makes me so proud to be here. Thank you again, Clint. But we are paid to do our job succinctly, directly, specifically, and get out.
Yep.
You've got Jeff Garland. You've got Wendy McCovey Clendon.
Yes.
Who are master improvisers. Let them play. This is their show.
Yes.
I'm here to move a scene along. I'm here to throw a little exposition out there. I'm there to add a little button on the end of a scene. I am not there to improvise.
Patrick, you are right about that. Every actor needs to
do
know
my
that.
work.
Because there's a lot of actors here who think they're the God's gift to acting.
And they might be.
And they might be, but that's not a time to prove it when you have 2 lines. Say those 2 lines, and don't go up and say, "Hey, I think I have something funnier to add to this."
We might, but that's not our job. Our job is to be polite, be professional, and be prepared. And I feel like those 3 P's have really gotten me a lot of places. I got a thank you. I was on Big Bang Theory.
Awesome.
Which you and I share that credit, right?
No. We did something else.
We've done Workaholics. We've done about a couple things.
Yes. We share a few.
Yeah, we share a few. It's kind of fun. But to get a thank you from people afterwards for not going over the top.
That's great.
People come in with that one chance. They feel like it's their one chance, so they want to take that one line of that'll be $34 and put some giant long spin with pauses and inclination and hidden meaning. No, man, that'll be $34. Thank you, Pat. Have a great day. I was great for it. That's all everybody's looking for.
That's it.
When we get to the Pat Daniels show, then I'll improvise all I want to. But till then.
Okay, Patrick. Worst days in Hollywood. Worst days.
And I know everybody says this, and I'm completely blessed to have done any work whatsoever. And I think the biggest days are those ones where you feel like you've hit a milestone, you've turned a corner, and that gets shut down.
False starts, as they put it.
Yeah, false starts. You find a recurring role on a show, and the show gets canceled. That's happened to me twice. I was on Kingdom. Kids Are All Right. A couple things where you're like, I'm in it. I got my job. It's not.
Yeah.
It's something that you've been really hoping for.
Even when even the showrunners coming up to you going, "Hey, next season, man, your part's getting bigger."
Yep. Kids Are All Right. I was the bartender, and the writer Tim, the creator, was like, "This bar means so much to me in my childhood growing up. I can't wait to explore it next season."
Oh man. We always hear something like that too. That's always when we know that the end is near. Right. Whenever you get those words.
But the worst days are probably I'm living a little bit of them right now, and that sounds horrible, but I feel like I've been so blessed and happy and excited to do commercial work that I'm hoping that the current state of commercials changes so that somebody else gets a chance to do this. Somebody else.
Yes.
We're moving to a direction where commercials are still going to be a thing, but they're totally changing, and we've got to stay up on that. So I'm really worried about the state of kind of like acting in general, and I think everybody, kids these days, they had their problems. Somebody who's 60, 70, 80 years old now, and the kids that are coming up who are 15, 16, 17, 18, they've got their own problems. So it's never super easy, but I'm just hoping that there's still going to be opportunity for kids to do what we do.
I know.
And how we do it.
Yes. The best days in Hollywood.
Cheesy, but I mean, that first booking that I did on my own, that somebody didn't call me in, somebody didn't hand me something.
Sure.
And
is there a better day than the day you book a gig?
No.
It's always my favorite day, the day I book it.
And I've got all these dumb rituals. I used to, every time after a callback in Santa Monica, which I live way far away from Santa Monica, I would have my callback. I would go to a little place called the King's Head, and I would have the King's Breakfast, which is this stupid, fatty, everything horrible for your arteries breakfast.
Sure.
Well, I started getting so many callbacks in Santa Monica that I had to stop. And to take something that's I'm very superstitious about this, I got to have it and stop it. That next time where I got the callback and didn't have my breakfast was huge. I was like, I made it, and it wasn't because of my breakfast. It wasn't because of the route I took. it was because, again, I worked hard, I prepped my lines, I prepared, I was professional and polite.
Right.
And so those are great. But Silicon Valley was probably the biggest rush to be able to work with those guys and to be on such a beautiful seminal piece of TV.
Am I remembering this correctly? It was a season finale episode?
I was in the last 2 episodes of season 2.
Yep.
For those of you guys who don't know, the boys were trying to proof of concept for their computer system, and they put a camera in a condor's nest.
Yes.
So I went and grabbed that condor's nest camera out, and I fell to a ravine and basically cried and screamed for the episode 10.
Patrick, that's great. I remember running into you at Ralph's and you
Yeah.
go, dude, I just booked this gig.
Yeah.
And you told me about it and I was like, that's cool, man.
It was a thing where the casting agent pushed me just to that one level farther. You are so worried because you get one chance in these auditions. And when it's something like you're crying or you're drunk or you're something that's a little over the top, you don't know how to play it. But to fall into a ravine and cry, I just went into this really weird place and I said, screw it. I'm gonna give this thing everything I've got. And she goes, can you go just a little bit more? And I just tears started flowing. It was the greatest moment because
that's awesome.
That's exactly what I wanted to do in there.
Yeah.
She pushed me to do it and it worked. Yeah, it was great.
Patrick, anything that you've learned along the way that you could pass on to another actor today?
Yes, I've thrown down my 3P system.
Yeah. Tell me again, 3Ps?
It is being prepared, being polite, and being professional. A lot of people in where we are in these under 5 lines, these maybe 2 or 3 pages lines, these one day kind of character shoots. We're the last person that they're concerned about.
Yeah.
They've got so many balls in the air that they just need somebody to come in and say, that'll be $43 and get out. And the audition process is that same way. Come in prepared, know all your stuff, but I always like to say, act like you have someplace else to go. Don't
That's
linger,
good.
don't hang out. You don't need to shake hands with everybody. They don't want to shake hands with 200 people.
Sure.
Get in, do your job, be super great to be there, and then go.
Okay, hang on one second.
Yeah.
Say you say the line, that would be $44.
Mm-hmm.
You mess up that line, okay? Do you drive home kicking yourself because you messed up?
Back up to that, never apologize. Own it. If you say 44 and she goes, great, thank you very much, then that was great, thank you very much. Hopefully, if it's a longer line or something, they give you a chance to redo that. Then you take that note, you sit there and think on it for a half second to make sure you know where you are, and you take that redirect and you listen to every single thing they say, and take your time, take it in, and then give it to them. So if you say $44
instead of 43,
that one I'm okay with. And maybe that's just the improviser in me. I'm okay with that because that thought got across. But when I get back in my car and I do this, and I'm horrible at it, and I'm trying not to, when I say, hey, that'll be $44. Oh, no, it should have been, yeah, that'll be $44.
Yeah.
A stylistic read,
Yeah.
it's always perfect in the car, man.
Perfect.
Second shot is always on
Yeah, man.
on tour.
Those producers just saw us in the car, how great we are.
Oh man, it'd be great. Let's see. A lot of what we do as journeyman actors is, again, doing your job correctly and doing it succinctly, but also, who do they want to hang out with for 12 hours? Paul Hungerford, one of my first commercial audition class teachers and a brilliant improviser himself, told me that. He said, hey, what we do on a day in, day out basis could be done by a lot of people, but who do they want to hang out with on set for 12 hours? Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We rehearse, we have snacks, we sit in our trailer, and we're on set for 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes is part of a 12-hour day for the guys behind the camera. So get your 15 minutes right, but also be a great person to hang out with.
Yeah. You're right about that. Patrick, dude,
Clint?
thank you so much for doing this, man.
My friend, you are doing a lot of fun stuff with, it's just an honor to be in the same iPhone camera screen with you.
Patrick, listen, I'm going to see you out there
Yes.
sooner than
every day.
later, I hope. And I'm not worried about you one bit. You're just gonna always be booking.
That's a huge compliment, Clint. I hope to come in, and if it's not you, to me.
Amen,
like I like
brother.
to say.
All right, Patrick, will you do me one last favor?
I'll do anything you ask.
Will you look in that camera and tell everybody bye?
Bye, everybody.